I didn't travel here to change history. I came to see what time looked like before we existed. When I first arrived here, it felt like stepping into the opening chapter of Earth's story. Everything was massive, untouched, and unaware of what would come next. I wasn't visiting the past. I was standing inside time itself. As the weeks passed, fear slowly made space for wonder. Sharing the river with Triceratops made the world feel steady and alive. Life had been thriving here for ages without ever waiting for us to appear. By the second month, the silence no longer felt empty. It felt intentional. Watching a stegosaurus move through the grass, I realized how brief my own lifetime truly was. Millions of years passed quietly like this, without needing witnesses. When the herd moved as one, their calls echoed across the land. It felt ceremonial, practiced by time itself. Our entire human history suddenly felt like a footnote. The forest felt like a living archive. Every creature was a sentence written long before us. I wasn't here to change the story, just to witness it. The Brachiosaurus moved like part of the Earth itself. Its size erased every human thought. This planet had never been centered around us. By the water, even armored creatures found rest. Peace wasn't created by civilization. It existed long before us. I was stepping into patterns far older than memory. Standing at the shoreline, I lost track of what era I belonged to. The ocean felt unchanged and uninterested in timekeeping. I started to wonder if time was less a line and more something we passed through. In the tall grass, watching iguanodons feed, I felt unexpectedly calm. Not because I belonged here, but because belonging didn't seem required. When storms rolled in, the sky reminded everything who was in control. Thunder hasn't changed across ages, only the ones listening to it have. These footprints hadn't become history yet. They were still a moment in motion. I was watching time being written, not remembered. The young Brachiosaurus moved with quiet confidence. Every age believes it's the beginning of something permanent. Time always keeps a longer view. Sitting by the fire, I realized I was the only human for millions of years in either direction. The flame belonged to my future. Everything beyond it did not. For the first time, that distance felt heavy. When I saw the shape on the ridge, beauty sharpened into danger. This place wasn't cruel. It was honest. Every era has teeth. As the predator passed, I stayed completely still. In that silence, I understood this fear wasn't unique to me. It connected every creature that ever tried to survive. The river felt like a moving timeline. Water that once flowed past dinosaurs would one day pass through cities. I felt suspended between both. Not lost, just momentarily unanchored. The sky burned red as the sun disappeared. Sunsets have outlived every species before us. Endings here don't feel tragic, they feel familiar. In the canyon, echoes layered one over the other like overlapping memories. I wondered if our era would someday sound just like this, distant, faint, preserved by stone. In a quiet clearing, I watched a small herbivore move through the grass. Nothing dramatic, just life continuing. Not every chapter is written in struggle. Weeks later, I studied a small feathered dinosaur watching me from nearby. I thought about birds in our time and how the past still travels with them. The distance between eras felt thinner. The dry plains felt like a pause in the planet's story. No urgency, no movement, even stillness, I realized, is part of change. When the rain finally returned, the land seemed to exhale. Renewal wasn't invented, it's always been here. Earth has practiced starting over for a long time. At night, the world filled with sound again. Calls moved through the darkness like an ancient song. I wasn't meant to understand it, only to listen. Looking out across the valley the next day, I could trace the path I'd taken. Every fear and every quiet moment connected into one experience. I finally saw my time here clearly. A chapter, not a book. And somehow that made it enough. When I returned to the river, it looked unchanged. The difference was me. I wasn't searching anymore, I was listening. And you see, what I realized is I wasn't important here. And for the first time, I didn't need to be. When the ground trembled, animals responded instantly. The earth is always moving forward, whether anyone is watching or not. 2 weeks later, I watched a massive herd move across the valley. They weren't searching for something new, just following what always was. My journey suddenly felt like part of something much larger. As the sun set over the ancient world, the truth settled quietly. I wasn't here to claim the story. I was here to remember it, and then let it continue. The deepest lesson I learned is that time will keep moving, with or without us. The least we can do is listen. The world once belonged to giants. Footsteps shook the ground, and then silence. Ages passed in a breath. Forests changed, rivers learned new paths, and eventually, humanity returned. Not with empires or stone, but with wagons, hope, and uncertainty. This was the Oregon Trail.